Hey everybody, and welcome to another JASP tutorial. In this one, it's more of an exploration rather than a tutorial because there's probably just so much and it's in beta. I recently shared a video of all of the changes that have come to JASP in the year 2025. And one of those changes, which I did say in that video I would make a separate video about, is the plot builder. The plot builder is in beta, okay? And so your mileage may vary. I'm just gonna take a look at it. We're gonna open up some data and I'm just gonna take a look at it from a basic standpoint, from a cursory overview. And as the plot builder gets better, we'll explore the various kinds of plots. But it, at the moment, is extremely comprehensive of a plot builder. It uses some of the best, and if I'm looking at the GitHub properly, it's using some of the best dependencies in R for making plots. Okay, so just to name a few, okay, ggplot2, tidyplots, rlang, dplyr, tidyr, forcats, and patchwork are the dependencies, the packages that are found in R to make plots. It doesn't have all of them, so ggprism, tidyverse, ggEasy, and ggpubr are not a part of it, from my understanding back in January of this year. But you know, I could be wrong. So if you're in the comments and you know and you are reading this a little bit better than I am, the pull request for all of the commits to making this package, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, to be honest, that's a lot. ggplot2 and tidyplots are two of the plots that I've used in the past. dplyr as well I've used. And, you know, making plots has been quite fun, expansive using R, but not everybody is capable of, you know, following the language of making plots in R. So that's where JASP comes in. Add a graphic user interface, a GUI, and boom, you have what I think the vast majority of the market wants and the vast majority of the market needs: a free program that can do all of the powerful things that R can do, while also allowing for people to, you know, not have to invest the time in learning a programming language, learning another language, let alone programming, right? So here we have the most recent version as of recording, JASP 0.95.4. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and open up some basic data that I've opened recently. This is the data library ANOVA beer goggles JSAP file, right? It has all of this information, right? It's gonna open all of this, but I don't want to have that, so I'm gonna remove it, and I'm just gonna have the data open. Okay, and plot builder is what we're going to do, right? So, I mean, if I open that again, I can show you the tons of plots that were created in the old way of doing it, right? In the descriptive statistics, you can make some plots, rain cloud plots, etc. Flexplot is another one that was added to JASP not too long ago in the last few years. But this is what we're focusing on in this video: plot builder beta. Okay, so it's still in beta. The last thing that I've seen was back in June when this release came out. July 28th is when this in 0.95.0. And haven't been able to do a plot builder video since then. Okay, so mainly because I was so far behind with all of the main features and stuff. So here's the plot builder, and so we go into descriptives and we go into plot builder beta. I have showing all of my options here, right? So one of the things to note is that we can always look at, you know, what kind of information that we have. Sometimes it's hit or miss on what we can do here. You can see all of the R package information that goes in here. Tidyplots, ggplots is in here somewhere, all of that, right? Sometimes the help file isn't the greatest, but you can decide on your design, you can map your variables, choose what to display, polish the figure, fine-tune axes, titles, annotation, themes, color sizing, and legend placement, how to set up each of these, and then individual drop-down menus for this stuff. And you can even make this bigger, so all of this fits on the page. We're just gonna play around with this simple data set. There are only 3 variables in here. As you may have noted, when I opened the file, it said that it was from the ANOVA set, and that is what it is. So there's 1 DV, attractiveness, and there are 2 IVs, okay? So we can express one via lines while the other one is expressed on the x-axis. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go and put y-axis as attractiveness. Oh boy, let's go ahead and close that. No, I don't want that to be big. Okay, forget it. We'll ignore that. I have, this is all of the information that the JASP plot builder, which is where they basically put in all of those packages that I described. They put those into the language that JASP can read, which is through the JASP Descriptives module, right? And so here we have the plot builder tab, and here we have all of this stuff, okay? Don't forget, you can edit the title of this analysis, and we can change that to plot building, plot building, hit enter, look at that, plot building. We can hide the syntax up here. I forgot how to do that over here. It's been a while, but I forgot. You can do that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You can copy this, you can duplicate this, and you can close it all, right? Now, attractiveness is down in the y-axis, so that's what we're gonna do. Attractiveness is gonna put on the y-axis, and then we're gonna put one of these in the x-axis and the other one in the group variable. And then when I'm done, I'm going to use this button right here, which is to add another tab. So this is technically plot 1, right? You can see plot 1, but I'm gonna add another one, and we're gonna look at it to see what plot 2 would look like. I'm basically just going to flip these two. I wanted to keep it easy, right? So let's go ahead and put face type on the x-axis, okay? And the face type was 0 or 1. The explanatory text, when you open the JSAP file, the explanatory text tells you what the face type is whatever. And then we're going to do the grouping variable. So this is the whether or not they used alcohol or not here, right? So I'm not entirely sure why I didn't put anything on the x-axis. All right, so required x and y variables. So let's go ahead and put on individual data points, okay? So alcohol is 0, 1, and 2. So that might not be the best for that, but we can change what we want here. Maybe we don't want individual data points. So we'll uncheck that, right? And we'll hide that. Maybe we just want a box plot. Box plot's not going to work for this data. Maybe a violin plot. Ooh, not going to work for this data. Okay, maybe not. So maybe we'll go to see if we can find another one. Maybe we can do a sum line. Okay, that's sum. This is what happens over here though. So maybe not. Okay, because attractiveness it looks like it goes from 0 to 8. So maybe not sum. Maybe proportions. We'll do a bar stack. No, it's struggling to do a bar stack, so we won't do that. Maybe an area stack. Ooh, yeah, look at that. 100% of the face types with the alcohol. No, we won't be doing an area stack. You can see where I'm going with this. I'm just showing you the different things that you can do. Means. Maybe we do a mean bar. Oh, okay. Not the kind of bars that you would see in a 3x2 or 2x3 ANOVA. So maybe not that. Ooh, maybe mean line. Oh, look at that. There's our line graph. Oh, yes. Absolutely what I needed here, okay? I knew that was the case, but I just wanted to sort of play around with it, right? You could also do mean area. Look at this and see what that looks like. I don't know if I'd do that. You could do mean value as well. Not sure why mean value is not showing there, but that's okay. Maybe it was mean dot that I was thinking of. Oh yeah, it was mean dot, although I don't know if I'd want that either. Mean dash and mean dot are very similar, but let's go back to mean line. So it looks like if we make this bigger, it looks like in alcohol 2, face type was viewed as attractive, more attractive than 1. And then when there's no alcohol, face type 0 was less attractive than 1. And then when there's moderate alcohol, it follows the same pattern. It's only when you're super drunk. Beer goggles is what is being pointed out here. That thing that you just saw was it auto-saving. That was the auto-saving feature that I described in a previous video. Okay, so we can do that. We can change the dodge. By default, it's 0.8, but we can change that to, let's see what happens when we change that to 0.9. So that's how farther away they are. So if we change this to let's say 0.2, we can see that they get closer together. Now, the dodge for me, I think relates to how close they are to these vertical lines so 0 and 1 right here. So if we change that to no dodge, you can see that we've got the vertical line going up, bear with me here, and it reaches the end of the line. I prefer this kind of dodge. That is to say, I don't need all the lines to be away from each other. I want their values to line up with their vertical x-axis lines. That's what I would say there. You can also change the font size width. So if I were to go from 1 to 3, it makes them fatter. Just recognize that every time I increase the size of this, make it the size you want before you go up to this line and save the image or edit the image or anything like that. We can edit the image here in just a second too, right? That's the cool thing about Plotbuilder is it still has the plot editor functions. So once we do that, transparency, I believe is between 0 and 1. So 0 transparency, I think is fully transparent. Yeah, you don't want that. But if we do 0.1, there you see that they get really light. So 1 is fully opaque, 0 is missing, okay? Black line would make all of them black. I don't recommend that because you can't do anything with that. That would suck. So we would take that off and have our 3 groups there, right? Again, this mean works here, right? So you could add error bars if you want to. We'll do standard error of mean error bars. Those don't look like error bars to me, mainly because they have a dodge on them, okay? Let's go ahead and add no, that just made them black. Width. See, these aren't adding the actual bars. So perhaps, yeah, it's not adding the vertical bars, which is a bit obnoxious. No, that's the range. Yeah, SEM range ribbon. No, I don't want the range ribbon. Although that would be nice for the confidence interval. Okay. I wish the ribbon, the ribbon's weird. Standard error ribbon for the blue line is like above it. It's very strange. Okay, so line width, let's go to 3 and see what happens with that. Nope, that's ridiculous. Okay, line width, that's probably the height of the line itself, right? Make them fatter, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I'm not a big fan of what I'm seeing here on the SEM error bars. I still think you're gonna get much better in, you can see the optimal dodge value is 0 if both X and Y variables are continuous. I think the optimal dodge value is always 0. That's gonna be my opinion right there. Anyways, as you can see here that, yeah, the error bars aren't the strongest, okay? But we can go into, so that's how you put the data in, right? That's how you create your geometry, okay? I wonder if I start making changes to it. Yeah, see, some of these are way off too. Like, I can't even tell. So those are, yeah, very strange. Okay, so there's that one. And then where's the blue line? I guess it's right on top of this one. Very strange. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I think Excel would be It's still far better of an option. You can modify the title, right? So face type, that's the x-axis. We just added a space in there because otherwise it was just the variable name by default, right? And we can rotate it, the labels themselves, 0 and 1, we can rotate them. We can shorten them, we can limit, we can rename the labels. So original label is 0 to face type is, I don't know if this is right, but asymmetrical. It's probably not right. I'm going to unrotate. There we go. And then we're going to have to change 1 to symmetrical. Let me click off of there, right? So we have asymmetrical and symmetrical. I don't know if that's right. I didn't take a look, but whatever. Attractiveness is actually a good value, a good name to have here, but we can rename labels, although I don't know why you would want to rename y-axis labels. But you can then limit. So these are putting the numbers in. So we could, the scale was from 1 to 8. So, you know, putting a 0 here would be a bit silly, but I could do that anyways. 0 to 9. Don't know why it didn't change that. Interesting. So there's, again, it's in beta. So that should change, that should have changed that to 0 to 8 because those are my limits, right? Maybe I just need to change this to attractiveness so it gets rid of default. Let's see. Nope, didn't change that. 0 to 9. Nope, breaks by 2. Well, it did do that. Okay, interesting. Okay, so that's the y-axis and the x-axis. We can change the title. Okay, we can add a caption if we wanted to. So the beer goggles effect. Call that figure 1. And then you can see here, Command Enter, and it's probably Control Enter to apply. So Command, and you can see it adds it at the bottom per APA style, which is very nice. Right, we want that, and then we can add any annotations and data labels to these things. These would be custom annotations, right? So you would add, so x-axis position 3, 3 right here. So the text is text. I'm just gonna say it'll add text at 3 although that's not a valid position. So 1 and 3, it adds text, right? And so you can then change those the appearance and everything there. Then we can change the theme and color. So apparently this is the JASP palette. That's kind of weird. But we can change this, and you can see that there are a number of color blinds. Sports team NBA, ggplot2 is what I'm familiar with. It's a green, orange, and blue, sort of a high value. Maybe neon's probably not the right not the right word, but yeah, this is my early playing around with ggplot2 and R. Grand Budapest. I wonder if it has to do with the Grand Budapest Hotel. I don't know. Viridis is something that you see quite a bit. It reminds me of like South African flag with the black, the green, and the yellow. I don't know if I'm seeing that, but like colorblind, you can see colorblind chose a green value. As long as there is not another, there was the autosave. As long as there's not another green or red in this, then people with red-green colorblind, it's the most common kind, will be able to decipher. You also have colorblind 2, which is a softer, and then colorblind 3, which brings in a green and a pink, which are distinguishable, and then another black, although I don't know if I'd recommend that fully. Oops, didn't need to close that. You can also change the theme to gray, okay, and have the background as a gray grid, okay. You can also do the plot builder, which puts a border around it and gets rid of the sort of lines that used to, the ends of the axis, makes it seem like there is no, like, a graph. Although I wish there were more. There's ggpubr, actually, which is your typical graph. I forgot about that. I realized that I went past that. So we have JASP. So we have 4 options. For me, ggpubr is perhaps what looks more closely related. I know these lines are super thick and dumb. It looks more closely related to what you would see in an APA style graph, right? For more variable colors, you can see this, right? Or you can change it to your custom colors by just saying red, blue. So if I were to type in red here and then hit enter, it changes them all to a single color. I don't recommend that at all, right? So to get rid of that, to default to whatever color scheme that you had selected goes there. But you can also do, let's see if we do red and blue. Let's see what happens there. So it chose purple as the intermediate color there, which is kind of nice. Very intriguing how it picked. I would not recommend this because then red and the green for color blindness would be very bad, okay? But anyways, I'm gonna let's change it to friendly long. Friendly long. Oh, I need to get rid of, yeah, to get a color scheme, friendly long, for example, then you would need to make sure that that's empty. You can do size, plot, margins, all of the padding and everything. You can also flip the plot. I don't recommend that, but sometimes that's useful, okay? I'm not gonna play around with plot size and padding. You can obviously change the plot size by doing this. Does it change those values? It does not, but if you put these, so anytime I make the change, it defaults back to these pixel values, and that's why it goes to small again. But if I were to make this, 1280 by 720 or vice versa, then it would be, 720p size plot. And any changes I make would be contained within that side, and you would have this padding, which would change the amount of padding in all of this. The one thing that is sort of bad here is the figure 1 is no longer centered, so maybe dragging it is not the best idea if you have that. You can also change where the legend is. You can put the legend on the right, which is where it is right now. The left, random, you can put it at the bottom. You can put it at the top. You could put it at the you can have no legend, where people are like, what is orange? What is green? What is pink? In this one, you can rename the labels as well, right? So that would be something that we would want to do in this one. No legend, put it on the right again, right? So 0 would be, I'm just going to do 0 here. Sober, right? And we'll change 0 to sober, and then 1 and 2, right? The order of the geometries, Okay, so you can say that you want your lines on top of the data points themselves. That's pretty cool. So you can say, what's the layout order? You can set the order of specific geometric data layers here. So if you've got lines, but then you want to have the area, lots of plots you see these days that can put this all together are pretty complex in this way, right? So you would want that, and it is defined from left to right as people write. So in this example here in gray, it would be the points are on top of the box plot. I'm sorry, the box plot is drawn on top of the point, right? The rightmost layer will be drawn on top. We can do split control, although this seemingly has, I wonder, theme. Let's go plot gray. Let's see. No, I'm not entirely sure what the split control and grid control is. I don't know what you need to satisfy these. You'd have to go into help. I'm not gonna do that in this video. This video is getting really long. P-value brackets, okay? You can put your p-values on there if you really, really want to. I would love to just put the asterisks on there, to be honest with you. That would be cool for me, Pabar. I would like to do that. You can add a pairwise comparisons table if you want to as well. Ooh, the x-axis variable can be a factor variable. Okay, you can't have, how do I get rid of it? Oh, x, there, you get rid of it that way. Okay, and then we're back to where we were. And then plot layout is the final one, right? So label size, 18. You can make those smaller if you want to. I usually do 14. Didn't really do anything. Horizontal position, vertical position, all of that stuff. Collect legend across layout. I don't know, really. There's so much, which is why using the help finder, right? Plot layout, right? Comma separated values each. Look at that. Just place a single shared legend for all plots in the layout. That's very cool, right? So let's do plot 2 and put attractiveness in the x-axis, alcohol on the y variable, and face type as the, and then just do the same mean line with what we got here. And look at there, plot 2. You can see that we go from 0, 1 to 2 on alcohol and face type, and attractiveness for the super drunk people right here. Super drunk people. It goes down as you get drunk for this particular face type. They're fairly equal in attractiveness ratings. It's about 6 something or whatever. And you start from scratch and you do it again. You do all the things that I changed here, and there you go. Awesome. But before we end this video, I just want to go into edit image here and just say that parse the title at NA. That's too funny. No, I don't want. I'm not entirely sure why NA is being drawn like that. Here, cancel. Oh, you know what, folks? I actually did accept my y-axis from 0 to 9. Oops. It actually did accept it. It took a while for it to accept it, but it finally did. Let's see here. Yeah, so if I go back into edit image, 0 is down here and 10 would be up here. Where's title? It required me to do this like parse title thing, but I'm not sure why it's adding an NA there. Okay, maybe I didn't do something right. I want that NA to disappear. There we go. All right, edit image. So really it's face type. It goes down here, and then the y-axis is right here. So essentially what they did was they removed all of the features here, save image as. This would be your final stop, right? We bring up this, and we'll save it as a portable networks graphics PNG, and we can save it like that, right? So they took all of that Plotbuilder stuff from here, and they put it in this, which I think is really nice, okay? And as you can see that adding that second plot in here. Oh, here it is. Unattractive and attractive. Okay, well, unattractive. So people were sober, rated, had concordant ratings. And then as they got drunk, the unattractive faces got better. And then the attractive faces stayed about the same. Okay, there you go. Yeah, 4% ABV, 500 mils of that. And then a high dose of 500 mils of 7. A 3% difference. Interesting. Attractiveness ratings on a scale from 0. Pass me a paper bag to 10. Pass me their phone number. Oh my God, you guys. That's awful. Terrible. Anyways, this is not my data. Please don't. This is from Andy Field's Discovering Statistics book. He made it up. This is completely made up stuff. So yeah, there you go. Just playing into that stereotype. But that's how you do Plotbuilder. It's really friggin' cool. I can't wait for this particular module within JASP to just move out of beta and just be super comprehensive. So nobody ever has to go into R to make fancy plots ever again. That's the goal, right? JASP is the goal, at least for the JASP devs. And they're doing a lot, and they've got a lot of support, as you've seen. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or other feedback, please leave those in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.